All right, everybody, let's talk about Subclass 3.0's, some highlights of the TWAB this week. First things first, everybody, right off the rip, restoration nerf. So restoration times 1 base healing rate is going to be reduced from 25 to 20. Restoration times 2 is going to go from 40 to 32.5. Also, it's no longer going to stack with healing rifts, so just keep that in mind. Ember of Tortures is now going to give you a minus 10 discipline penalty when equipped. Also, it's going to have your radiant duration reduced from 10 seconds to 8. Ember Soul is going to provide a 50% buff to your actual radiant duration rather than just a flat 5-second buff, okay? Also, it's going to be consistent with its behavior with restoration. For hunters, okay, knock them down. The golden gun now is going to provide 15% bonus damage resistance. Deadshot golden gun and no longer provides bonus duration. No longer provides 50% bonus damage resistance to marksman golden gun, okay? Blade Barrage, so this is going to be a little bit of a nerf here. Blade Barrage bonus projectiles reduced from 5 to 3 per group. It now deals a total of 29 instead of 24. And then Celestial Fire, close range melee damage is going to go from 90 to 100, so basically to allow you to win those melee fights whenever you actually use your fully charged Celestial Fire melee. Now we're talking about Void. So it actually turns out, dude, that this entire time we've literally been using a weakened version of the actual Void Overshield. It's been half as good as it's supposed to be, providing only a 25% PvE only damage resistance Void Overshield rather than the intended 50% damage resistance PvE only Void Overshield. Okay, next up, we got a buff for the Nova Bomb Vortex. 21% increased projectile speed, a 17% increase to the radius in which it pulls enemies inward, and then a 20% buff to its actual pulling ability, right? You know, the whole part that makes it a vortex. Will be cool to see. Shield Bash minor buff just literally improves the reliability of applying suppression. That's it. All right, as for the Shadow Shot, okay, Deadfall and Mobius Quiver, they're going to be getting some changes. Deadfall is going to be getting a buff, basically going to have its lifetime increase from 8 seconds to 12 seconds, so a 50% buff there. And then Mobius Quiver is going to go down from an 8 seconds down to 6 seconds, okay? Then we have Arc, decrease the Touch of Thunderstorm grenade base roaming duration from 5 seconds to 4 seconds. Spark of Magnitude is going to only give it a 1.5 second bonus to its lifespan, down from a 2-second buff. And this right here is just a visual bug to further indicate if it's a, you know, friendly or enemy storm grenade. Ballistic Slam is going to get a 16% buff to PvE combatants. Tempest Strike is going to be getting a 30% PvE combatant buff. That'll be pretty cool. Arc Souls are going to be getting a buff from 35 to 60 base damage and PvE only. The Ball Lightning melee is going to have its travel range increased to 35 meters, up from 27.5, and then Chain Lightning is going to have its increased damage to PvE combatants up by 50%. And then Chaos Reach's cooldown is going to go down to a 7-minute 35-second cooldown, down from a 9-minute 16-second cooldown. Okay, kind of just want Chaos Reach to have a damage buff, but that's just me. Stasis is going to be getting some changes as well. So the actual slow debuff effect from Stasis is going to be getting buffed. Increased movement speed penalty while slowed by 10%. The Seeker from Cold Snap can now adjust its trajectory for half a second after creation rather than just immediately finding a target and traveling toward their last known position. The Dust Field is going to have its slow stack affliction rate on players increased by 13%. Oof. Stasis Hunter and Titans are going to have some fragment slots opened up. The Winter Shroud is now going to give an additional fragment, 2 instead of 1, and then the Cryoclasm aspect for the Titan is now going to give you 2 fragment slots instead of 1 as well. Pretty cool to see. For the Shadebinder Warlock, Glacial Harvest, its initial cooldown is going to go down from 15 seconds to a solid 10 seconds. Interesting to say the least. A smooth 33%. Whisper of Rending is now going to provide a damage bonus to literally all primary weapons instead of just kinetic primary ammo weapons. Basically, if a gun has infinite ammo, Whisper of Rending is going to buff it, at least if they are frozen. Also, new dungeon on December 9th. Mark your calendars. Something I just want to highlight from the recent interview from the weapons design team is this, where they say bringing back sets of weapons is dependent on story beats with a specific character. The moment there is a Black Armory story beat or an ADA story beat, you can expect Black Armory weapons to come back, or if there's a really strong Saint beat or Rasputin. They go on to further mention the DSC weapons coming back with an origin trait now and a new perk pool, also being craftable. We're going to start doing that with those types of chunks of content every season or every other season. Old raids, maybe dungeon weapons, maybe other sources. DSC is first on this list because it has a raid vendor that makes it easy to purchase red bordered weapons. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on all of this news down below in the comments, and of course stay safe and subscribe for more content.